Welcome to my 2020 Pats Man Coverage review. This game is of the Patriots versus Bills in 2020 on Monday Night Football. This is the famous game where Bill threw that phone on the sideline because he lost the challenge. So really I wanted to go over this one specific play because you really see the disparity between good and bad man coverage, especially with a team that is so accustomed to man coverage with a Bill Belichick coach team. So really, I just kind of want to go through each position of the DBs and talk about their coverage, just so we're on the same page. This is the Bills' pass concept. So really, they're running a fast flare with the back, get a man zone tell. You see the 58s running with them. So really, the Patriots end up running one hole. So that's the deep post player, cover one around, and then there's a middle underneath player. Usually, there's different trains of thought, but for this one, if there's a tight split, then you're going to be outside leverage and feed it inside. So we'll talk about that later. So really what the Bills have is you have the double over with Gabe Davis and Stephon Diggs. And then you have an undercross by Cole Beasley. And then you have a big post by Isaiah McKenzie. Usually sometimes when you see this spear concept, some teams call it with the double overs, is you see a go. But I think the Bills ran the post here because if you remember back then the Patriots were big on that cover zero, and this cover zero post is a cover zero beater. So to give Josh Allen some answers back when Brian Daboll was the offensive coordinator. So really we're going to talk about it. We'll all play it a couple times. We're going to talk about each position. Okay, so first off, we're going to go Jason McCourty versus Gabe Davis. So kind of what I talked about is when you got help inside two middle players, you kind of want to be outside, and really there's a train of thought of you want to squat, because if he runs a vertical like a seam, you have that post safety, and then that also helps you squatting if to undercut any overs. But when he goes vertical, as you'll see, you really want to be behind him on the back hip, so if he runs a corner you can catch it, and you still want to be underneath. Like I said, if he runs it over you can undercut it. So really when you see Jason does a good job of squatting, gets his hands on the shoulder, you can see he's reaching a little bit. You never really want to have your elbows too extended, or that ends up dropping your head and kind of locks your feet. So really, Jason ends up losing him here. But he does a good job of undercutting the over, as you see right here. He feels that crossing route, and I bet he sees Stephon coming across. So he's making an educated guess that he's running over. So he does a good job of losing ground and staying underneath, but meeting him over by the cross numbers. Where, yes, his shoulder turns and he can still make the throw, but at least he's disputing the catch. Okay, so I think it's a decent job. I think he's reaching on the jam a little bit, but it's a good job recognizing the concept and at least putting yourself in a position to make a play. Next, we got J.C. Jackson on Stephon Diggs. It's like routes on air. It's pretty easy. What you see here is you don't want to pedal and press, because you have a tendency, because they're so close, when you pedal, people have a tendency to raise their chest up, which makes them unbalanced. And when their feet are staggered, if he breaks to the back foot of the stagger and you have to open up, you're going to end up doing the splits because your feet are already so separated. Or if he goes inside where the front foot is up, then you have no leverage to turn your hips because your front hip is already forward. And it's hard to go back because you really have to lean back and you're going to lose momentum. So first there's the pedal. There's no jam. He opens up the gate. When you open up the gate, expect to get rated as a DB, especially with no early like that. It's not contested, so he routes on air. And then it looks like he runs into Gabe Davis right there. Like, I don't know if he feels him driving, so he's trying to get in the way of him. I can see how he's thinking that, but still, it's a pretty big gain. So you can see the disparity so far between... So you can see the disparity between Jason McCourty and J.C. Jackson's coverage. Then right here you got J.C. Jones on Cole Beasley. He does a decent job squatting, but see how he kind of moves his feet back right there. You want to know, if this was a speed slot, then I can understand, but this is Cole Beasley. No, they make the work underneath, so you want to be aggressive, and you want to make them, they tend to be those smaller bodies. You want to make them work for it. So yes, you have help underneath, but I would like to see him make Cole Beasley earn it on any vertical. and he does beat a cross, and that under cross takes up the linebacker, so he can't really be in the window of the over. So I think so you have two guys that aren't really playing the squat correctly, and then you have Miles Bryant on Isaiah McKenzie. When you're pedaling and the guy's running right at you, eyes to eyes, you have to make a decision is if I'm going to attack him, but that's a hard ground because if you miss, you're screwed. So really the most safest option is just turn to the go, and then if he breaks inside, you do a speed turn and catch him where he's going to be. Miles Bryant does that, but when he turns his shoulders flat to the 45 like it's a deep dig, like a 25-yard dig. I don't even know if that is 25 yards. Yeah, it's about 25 yards. 25 yards digs, and then he gets beat on the post. What you want to do is when you speed turn, you want to turn high and then work back downhill, because then you're working high to low, and because you also know you have your post there. For any of these 25-yard digs, that's still kind of unheard of, really, especially for drop back 5-man pro. So really, there's these small things of does a good job right here. Now just break high to the 40, and then you can work back down if it's like a post dig. So you could see the disparity between good coverage, okay coverage, bad coverage, and then just one small minor thing. And if you're being honest, really there's a chance to throw the ball to everybody except Cole Beasley because he's got the bracket of the whole player. So it's a little surprising to see a Bill Belichick team coach this badly, but it is what it is.